I'm a third generation Japanese American, a farm boy from Arizona. Didn't know what I wanted to be when I was growing up, although I definitely knew I didn't want to be a farmer. So went to college and tried out different things, started out in engineering, came to settle on medicine because that sounded like a really noble profession and a profession that I could help people in. I started out in life as a pediatrician and a neonatologist because that was a positive reason to go to a doctor to make sure your child was growing and developing normally. Well, I loved taking care of babies. It didn't seem to satisfy everything I needed to get out of medicine. Around 2000, I heard about this new field called palliative care and started to look into it and thought, gee, this was not around when I was in training. This sounds really fascinating. So I went back and started this fellowship in Boston in 2004. Before I left, the administration graciously said, we'll create a position for you. And Terry's predecessor said, if you want to be the medical director of the pediatric hospice program, that's a job that you could have as well. So I said, great. Terry's predecessor left while I was in Boston. And I thought, oh, great. Who are they going to hire? And how is that going to work out? They hired this person named Terry Warren, and I didn't know her from Adam, so I was a little concerned about that. I remember Claire Tien called me from LA while I was still in Boston and said, do you still want the Trinity Kids Care medical director job? And I said, of course. So I came back, and I remember the first meeting with Terry as well. I remember thinking, I can work with this person. We could do some really cool things together.
That really is how it began. What I think about in the early days now, when I think back to it, was how naturally it became a partnership. As a first-time executive, it was a very different experience for me, and I was learning that role at the same time that we were beginning to work together. You became a sounding board in a way that might not have happened as quickly. I think we could push each other a little bit in the way we were thinking and the way we were looking at things to get things moving. Because Trinity Kids Care was a totally different program.
Yeah.
I think there were probably 6 children on service. There wasn't a medical director who was really actively involved with it. There were so many just administrative and morale kinds of opportunities in the beginning.
I do remember appreciating how you always, and you continue to give me space and room to imagine different programs, to reimagine how the work could be done. And I always appreciated not try to put me inside a box that I needed to work in.
You don't fit in a box. That was pretty clear. It was and still is such a privilege to watch and be a part of some of the creativity and things you can bring to work we're currently doing, but work we haven't even started. That excited and spurred me to think differently and think creatively into a lot of areas. You've never had just one job. And now, here we are, however many years later. It is nothing short of breathtaking to me to step back every once in a while and look at the variety and services that we have today that didn't really exist back when the two of us started working together. The palliative program at Little Company of Mary really was just a placeholder, a namesake at that point, but you have built that into an incredible service that's caring for, on the acute side, over 1,000 patients a year.
No, I think the need has always been there, and the growth just really reflects that as opposed to individual programs. Although, you do have to put together the people that take care of the people, but
it's about not just the people in the communities that we're taking care of, which really is why we, brush off ourselves and go to work every day, but it's really about the people we work with providing the care. We can't do one without the other. And I think that's part of why I still am probably even more passionate about what we do than I might have been before. Even though at that point I couldn't have imagined being more passionate about the work we do. The importance of every relationship along the way is just part of what makes the care we provide mean something to people in the communities that we serve, but to individual families.
It's pretty cool work. You know, I just came back from the Search Inside Yourself course. And one of the things that Meng said, we had one session with him, the guy who wrote the book,
Wow.
right, who started the program. And he said something that really was, I never thought of before. He said that witnessing suffering deepens your compassion. You really need suffering, in a sense, to deepen your sense of compassion. I always talk about how lucky I am to do this work, but how the witnessing of suffering does deepen my sense of compassion. And that's why I can't give up patient care. So no matter how rocky things get, you know, I know you'll be there.
Right back at you.